This afternoon, Mr. Billy Payne, Chairman of Augusta National, in the middle. To his right, Mr. Glenn Nagar, the President of the United States Golf Association, and on my side, Mr. Ted Bishop, the President of the PGA of America. My name's Craig Heatley. I'm the Chairman of the Masters Media Committee. It's my honour to welcome you all. Each of these gentlemen are going to speak briefly about a very exciting and positive initiative, and following their comments we'll open for questions. Chairman Payne.
Thank you very much, Craig. As you began your remarks, I couldn't help but recall that they thought nobody could understand me when I was chairman of the media committee, so you fall right into the job well, Craig. Hello, everybody. I'm Billy Payne, and I have the privilege today of representing the Masters Tournament Foundation as we announce yet another important initiative to strengthen and to accelerate our membership's longtime commitment to contribute to the health and the growth of the game of golf. I'm honored to be joined today by these two very important gentlemen, Mr. Glenn Nagar, President of the United States Golf Association, and Mr. Ted Bishop, President of the PGA of America. Representing their respective organizations, they join me today in this important and this fun announcement of the creation of the Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship, a new nationwide junior skills competition for boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 15. Following this summer's local and regional qualifiers, finalists in each of the 4 age classifications, boys and girls, will come to Augusta National next April, the Sunday before the Masters Tournament, to compete in the championship finals. Imagine, if you will, the incredible excitement these 88 finalists will experience as they come to the site of the Masters to compete in the driving and chipping on our beautiful tournament practice range, and as they conclude their competition, putting to win, as all major Masters champions have before, on the 18th green of Augusta National Golf Club. No doubt we believe April the 6th, 2014 will be a very special day for these kids, one they will surely never forget. And it will be a very special day, thanks to the Golf Channel, for the millions of kids watching on TV who may be deciding at that very moment to give golf a try. We have long admired the efforts of the USGA and the PGA of America to grow the game, and we are so pleased to be afforded the opportunity to join them in this very special initiative. We all share the belief that if we can make golf fun, kids will come, and particularly because they can dream about coming to this very special and historic location. And we want the public to cheer these kids on. So we will open our gates that Sunday to allow several thousand ticketed patrons the opportunity to enjoy what surely will be a very impressive display of skills from our youthful competitors. It is our collective hope and belief that this quest to make it to Augusta National will become the dream of kids all over the country. Their participation will inspire others to make the effort, and by doing so, to discover this wonderful, wonderful game. So I say to all moms and dads, go to drivechipandputt.com and begin your child's journey to Augusta. Thank you, Craig.
Mr. Chairman, thanks. He'll be followed by Mr. Glenn Nagar, the President of the USGA. Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Heatley, and a very heartfelt thanks to you, Mr. Chairman Payne, and to President Bishop. The USGA is delighted to be part of the development and founding of such a meaningful program aimed at making golf more welcoming to kids, and by doing so contributing to the health of the game of the golf here in the United States. Among our many challenges here in the United States is finding creative ways to make the game more accessible, especially among our nation's youth. The Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship that we're collaboratively announcing today is an exciting new effort in this regard. and together with our partners at Augusta National Golf Club and the PGA of America, we look forward to leading the long-term success of this new championship. For our part, the USGA is pleased to bring to this endeavor our experience and capabilities in conducting national championships, as well as our longtime commitment to the amateur game. In its design, the Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship is open to all juniors ages 7 through 15, with boys and girls competing in separate divisions across 4 separate age categories. The program is free of charge to all participants who need only submit an entry to compete in one local competition. Each participant will compete in all 3 skill categories, accumulating points for driving, chipping, and putting. For the driving portion of the competition, participants' shots must land within a 30-yard fairway to score points, with points increasing incrementally based upon the length of the drive. Around the green, each participant will attempt 3 10 to 15-yard chip shots, with shots measured from the center of the scoring hole. Each participant will accumulate points based on the ball's relative closeness to the hole after each shot. Finally, as to the putting competition, each participant will attempt 1 putt from 3 different distances, 6 feet, 15 feet, and 30 feet, with points determined by the ball's relative closeness to the hole. More information on eligibility and the rules can be found on the program website, again, drivechipandputt.com. Our collective efforts to promote amateur golf are as critical today as they've ever been in the past. Our game is facing real challenges here in the United States concerning its health, and Drive, Chip, and Putt is just one way that we can attract and grow a new generation of players to the game. We at the USGA applaud the collective vision, creativity, and collaboration that's occurred to bring this innovative idea to life and to ensure the long-term success of this championship. In closing, let me say that it's particularly fitting that this new national skills competition for young amateurs culminates here at Augusta National Golf Club. In establishing this temple for the game some 80 years ago, Bobby Jones saw fit to create more than simply a landscape on which to play golf. He imbued this club with a powerful dignity and reverence for those who compete simply for the love of the game. That's what amateur golf is. It's our hope that this program, in its own way, further strengthens the important bond that has existed since the days of Mr. Jones between Augusta National and the young amateurs who play the game today and who we hope will play in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. And to follow, Mr. Ted Bishop, President of PGA of America.
Thank you, Mr. Heatley. It's certainly my pleasure to be here on behalf of the PGA of America and our 27,000 golf professionals who are, I know, very thrilled to be able to partner with our friends here at Augusta National Golf Club and the United States Golf Association. And I can tell you that this exciting new venture truly represents the spirit of collaboration and cooperation among our 3 organizations. And it's an exciting week for the PGA of America because on Wednesday we're going to celebrate our 97th birthday. And to be able to make this announcement and to really stick with what we have done over the years in terms of growing the game of golf among people of all ages and abilities with a unique opportunity like this is extremely exciting, I think, to all of us associated with PGA of America. You know, we certainly believe that kids throughout the country are going to be energized to be part of the Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship. And already among our professionals, we've experienced a great sense of anticipation with more than 100 PGA staff facilities nationwide agreeing to host both the local and the regional qualifying events. You know, Glenn mentioned that there are going to be 4 age categories, and I'll run through those real quickly with you. The youngest will be 7 to 9 years old. Next will be a 10 to 11-year-old age category, followed by 12 to 13 years old, and then an age group with 14 and 15-year-olds. There will be both boys and girls who are going to compete in separate divisions in each category. The Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship will be conducted in 3 stages. From June 1 through July 31st of this year, there's going to be 110 local qualifying events conducted in 19 states and Washington, D.C. From each of the 110 local qualifying events, The top 2 overall point earners in each of the boys and girls divisions from the 4 age categories will then advance to the regional qualifying level of the competition. The regional qualifying events, which will be held August 1st through August 31st, will include 160 kids at a course in the following 11 states: Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, 2 in the state of Texas, Virginia, and Washington. The overall champion in each of the boys and girls divisions from the 4 age categories will advance to compete here at Augusta National next spring. So in all, you're going to have 88 youngsters nationwide will have the chance to drive, chip, and putt on these Hollywood grounds on Sunday, April the 6th of 2014. I can't imagine what that will be like for, obviously any of those kids that qualify. But what I'm especially pleased with is that through the grassroots programs run by our PGA professionals, which are going to lead to the championship finals, there'll be more than 17,000 kids who are going to have a chance to fulfill their dreams of competing at the home of the Masters tournament. I'm sure there's going to be upwards of over 100,000 kids that are going to have interest, in this competition as it unfolds. The PGA of America, I believe, is uniquely positioned to support drive, chip, and putt through our network of PGA sections and, of course, our men and women golf professionals. It was the executive directors of these PGA sections within these regions who determined where the qualifying sites were going to be. We've tried to place an emphasis on those facilities that have developed strong player development programs in the past. We've taken into consideration a fair geographical distribution in each of these markets, and we've blended both public and private facilities as well. Our PGA professionals have proudly grown the game throughout our nearly 100 years. We go to work every day with a steadfast commitment to make the game more enjoyable for all that we serve. So we expect a high level of interest from everybody with this new championship, and I don't think there's any question that's going to happen. I know that our professionals will do a great job promoting the local and regional qualifiers, and they're going to make these events memorable and certainly a lasting experience for all the kids that participate. Through the Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship, our next generation of players are really going to have an extraordinary opportunity to realize the dream of countless golfers worldwide. PGA of America and our professionals are honored to be involved, especially at a time when growing the game is paramount in the minds of all of us that certainly deeply care about that. And, we thank you for your belief in the PGA of America and our dedicated professionals, and we're certainly excited to get this championship started.
Gentlemen, thank you. Questions from the floor? Steve?
Mr. Chairman, considering the stature the Masters has in the sport, how important is it for Augusta National Golf Club to play a leading role in growing the game?
I think we decided, actually through efforts going back 50 years, to try to be a positive influence in the game of golf, mostly for the first several decades by contributing substantial proceeds from the tournament to the various golf organizations. A little while ago, we decided to take a little more active role. Since then, we've been proud to implement our junior pass programs, allowing young kids free admission to the tournament. We created, of course, televising the par 3, which has brought it into the families of people all across America. We created a video game, trying to get the next generation of kids responsive and happy about the opportunity to see, participate in golf. We've created the Asian Amateur Pacific Championship, and very proudly, a very young man is here this week, the 2012 champion. So we have felt the obligation for decades to be a positive force in the game of golf, and we've been very fortunate recently, in one case with the R&A, in this particular case with the USGA and the PGA of America, to secure important partnerships with the hope and expectation that collectively we can do better than any of us could do individually. So we're committed to the sport of golf, to introducing golf to the next generation, and I suspect it will stay on that track well into the future.
Thank you, Mr. Heatley. Mr. Payne, I heard you mention the practice facility, but you also said something about the 18th green. Would you talk about how that comes into play?
Well, you're stealing my remarks from Wednesday. When we talked about it and we offered to put up Augusta National as the finals venue, we thought about what would be thrilling and exciting, and we couldn't help but think historically how many of the great golfers, professionals of the world, have visualized making the winning putt on the 18th green to secure their Masters title. So we thought if we could duplicate that, share it with these kids, it would be both thrilling for them and amazing to watch. So I think that's what led us to the 18th green putting, which will be the final event, and hopefully we'll get some of those great, exciting gestures.
What's the winner get? A green vest or anything?
An experience of a lifetime.
What kind of, you mentioned thousands of patrons. How many roughly do you anticipate?
We don't know the right number. And I suspect that'll be the amount of people that comfortably fit in the confines of the practice area in the 18th green.
Could you tell us about the genesis of the idea, in particular the format and how everybody got involved?
We have all discussed over the years ways to work together better, to create more meaningful partnerships. We're all trying to do the same thing. I think we all do it effectively, but if we could combine the same motive, the same intention with even more intellectual capability, perhaps the result could be better. So we've been talking quite a while, and each of the parties contributed meaningfully to how we conduct it, how we qualify for it, where we're going to do the finals. It was a wonderful collaboration.
Alex?
Mr. Nager, can you talk about, the USGA has not traditionally been a grow the game organization, but it sounds like this is part of a change in attitude. Can you talk about that?
Well, I can just say that we're very pleased to join with Augusta National and the PGA of America in yet another program that we believe is good for the health of the game. I mean, we've had programs with the PGA of America, with our Boys and Girls Club program, getting minority youth involved around the country for years. Chairman Payne and I have been discussing a number of different issues of mutual interest, again, to get kids more interested in the game of golf. I mean, the most disturbing demographic that's out there is the approximately 30% decline in participation among juniors in the game in the United States. So this is a joint effort on our part with the PGA of America and its 27,000 teaching professionals, and the generosity and spirit of Augusta National Golf Club to try to stimulate interest in the game from America's youth.
John, you had your hand up before.
Ted, I gathered from what you said, this will be logistically overseen by the PGA?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, will the children be restricted on any kind of putters that they're able to use?
I'm not on the putting committee.
Two things real quickly. First, Mr. Payne, there have been some famous putts made at the 18th hole. Will any of those be recreated?
Oh, we've discussed that. You may see a few, yes.
Okay. And secondly,
you can probably tell me what's fun.
I could think of one in 04 that was pretty cool. Mr. Bishop, you'd mentioned 17,000, I think, was an anticipated maybe participation rate, and I'm wondering, that's obviously an estimate. Where are you drawing that number from? Is that from junior golf that's currently programs out there? Or,
No, I think if you look at the total capacity of entrants that we could handle at all these local qualifying events, that's 17,600 would be a full field, so to speak.
But if I may, I would remind you that that's quite apart from the registration process, which we expect to be in the hundreds of thousands, and then random lottery to come up with the beginning participants.
Right.
all three organizations are involved in another pretty successful program, the First Tee. And will they be playing a role in this either through their facilities or in any sort of way?
I don't think directly through the facilities. I suspect that a lot of the wonderful kids that are a product of their programs are good enough to be some of the qualifiers, so I expect we'll see them that way. We've had a preliminary discussion with Tim, and I think right now you'd have to say this is a separate but very much unified approach to golf. We all support his efforts, and I'm sure he'll be supportive of this as well.
Yes, Chairman Payne, well, any of you, was this modeled in any way after the punt, pass, and kick thing that used to happen? And then I have a follow-up.
Well, we did a lot of research about how they did it and successfully. So, you know, different sport, different way of qualifying, different everything. But, yeah, I think the success which they've been able to achieve, you know, inspired me.
A few years ago, it seems like last year, the year before, you mentioned on your Wednesday remarks about some research or surveying you were doing about Grow the Game.
Yes, sir.
Did this grow out of that, and what other things did you find from that research?
Well, this specific event didn't, but I think the need to make golf fun, the need to financially support that initiative to make it fun, certainly was a direct outgrowth of that research. And we shared what we've discovered with both of these organizations, and you know, we're all doing research all the time, and I think Glenn perhaps would know significantly more than I do about all of the research specifics, but we certainly did enough research to know that we had to do something.
Let's take 2 or 3 more questions, John.
This could be a question for any of you, but I'm going to make an assumption that this came up in conversations. The costs that could be incurred by the participants. Give me some thoughts on it.
Participants?
By the participants who would have to travel here. Lodging in this town is difficult.
I think Glenn, because of the amateur status, should answer those questions.
It was a very good question, and we've discussed that issue. Again, this program is free. There's no entrant free. We're in this first year. We've picked sites where we think that large numbers of kids would be interested and where the sites will be accessible. If this program is as successful as we hope it will be, we will grow the number of sites for qualifying in future years. There really is no limit on that, thanks to the state and regional golf associations and the PGA of America. And the destination, obviously, is about as attractive as you can get here at Augusta National. With regards to the kids' expenses, that is an issue that we have discussed. We are sensitive to that. At this point, we haven't made any commitments with regard to those expenses. There are both amateur status rules, high school rules, collegiate rules. We're still sorting through all those, but our objective is to do whatever we can to make this as fun and as non-burdensome an experience so that it's open to as many kids as we can possibly make it under the rules.
Yeah, and I would just add one thing to Glenn's remarks. We have PGA professionals all over the country that are going to be dying to host these local qualifiers, and I think that our philosophy this first year was to make sure that we did everything exactly the way that it needed to be done, and certainly we've got the ability to expand this program as we move into the future.
Alex?
Just back on the finances for a second. Were you anticipating, if everything could get worked out between the high schools and the amateur status and all that stuff, that the kids that would come here could get some kind of stipend to be able to handle that?
Well, again, we haven't sorted that through yet, so I can't speculate as to what will finally come out of it. But again, our objective here is to make this as open and as accessible as we can.
2 more, sir.
This is for Glenn. Peeling back to Karen's question about the long putter, given the USGA's stance moving forward, is there a chance that kids would be banned from using a long putter in the competition?
Well, let me say, I certainly understand the reason for your question, but that issue's pending before the USGA Executive Committee. It'd be inappropriate for me to comment one way or the other on it. What I can comment on is that this program is designed to try to interest kids in the game, and that's what we're trying to do and what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, I think, Glenn and I are really kind of hoping that we could come here this week and maybe take a week off from these anchoring discussions. And today is all about the drive, chip, and putt contest, and this week is all about the first major of the year. So anybody that is thinking that they're going to ask me any questions the rest of the week, I'm not going to talk about it.
Richard, last question.
Mr. Payne, you mentioned several thousand ticketed patrons. Would these be new patrons or Masters patrons?
Well, since that will be a lottery system as well, I would think most of them would be new. People that never had the opportunity to be here. That's what the arithmetic would tell me.
Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we're all very excited about this initiative going forward, so thanks for coming.